The sun had just begun to rise over a quiet fishing village by the sea. The waves gently kissed the shore, and the smell of salt filled the air. The village was peaceful, with small wooden houses, narrow paths, and children playing barefoot on the sand. One morning, a wealthy businessman named Richard arrived in the village for a much-needed vacation. He was a man of great success, owning several companies and making millions every year. Yet, despite all his wealth, Richard always felt like something was missing. He believed that success came from working harder, making more money, and achieving bigger goals. As he walked along the shore, he noticed an old fisherman sitting under a palm tree, leisurely mending his fishing net. His small boat was anchored nearby, and a basket beside him held just a few fish. The fisherman looked peaceful, as if he had no worries in the world. Curious, Richard approached him and asked, "Excuse me, sir. I noticed that you came back early from fishing. Why don't you stay out longer and catch more fish?" The old man smiled and said, "I have caught enough for today. This is all I need to feed my family and sell a little extra at the market." Richard raised an eyebrow. "But if you stayed longer and caught more fish, you could make more money. You could buy a bigger boat, hire workers, and catch even more fish. Eventually, you could own a fleet of boats, open a seafood business, and become very rich." The fisherman chuckled and asked, "And then what?" Richard grinned, feeling proud of his knowledge. "Then after years of hard work, you could retire rich. You could buy a small house by the beach, wake up whenever you want, spend time with your family, and enjoy life." The fisherman smiled warmly and said, "But my friend, I am already doing that now." Richard was stunned. He looked at the fisherman, who had nothing compared to him. No expensive suits, no luxury car, no big house. Yet the old man seemed happier than Richard had ever been. For years, Richard had worked tirelessly, chasing wealth and success, believing that happiness was something to be achieved in the future. But here was a simple fisherman who had already found happiness in the present. That night, as Richard lay in his hotel room, he couldn't stop thinking about the fisherman's words. He realized that he had spent his whole life trying to impress others, showing off his wealth and chasing something that was already within reach. The next morning, he walked to the shore again, but this time not as a businessman looking for success, just as a man searching for peace. Lesson: happiness isn't found in showing off wealth or success. Sometimes simplicity and contentment are the greatest riches of all.